Hello everyone, welcome to Chaudhary Data World channel. Today I am here with a new video in Pandas series, the tutorial on Pandas, that is frequently used arguments which is getting used in import of data. So all the frequently used arguments we will be watching into this particular video. So let's get started with the video. So what happens, let me just take you back to the learning roadmap which we are following in this whole series of Pandas tutorial. So first we are watching data input, after that data exploration we will watch, then data cleaning, then data selection and indexing, and so on till exporting the data we will be watching, and hence our whole Pandas tutorial will end with this particular roadmap only. So very first step we are having is the data import. So in last class we have seen that what all types of data sets we can import and how we can import into the Pandas. Now in this particular class we are going to see what all frequently used argument along with this import, that means whatever we are importing it right now here. So along with these, suppose this is the file .csv, we are providing the file path over here. So this is one of the argument, and apart from that there are several arguments which we can pass, which will make our job easy in further. That means it can be that when we will be dealing up with the data structuring or cleaning anything, so it will make our job easy as we can do it at the time of import itself. So whatever frequently used one, I have just listed it down over here. We'll be seeing one by one each of them, that what it is and how is it working into our Pandas library. So very first is file path, which you are very much aware from the last class, that how we can use our file path. Definitely we can provide a variable of file path, and that there will be the file path mentioned, and pd.readcsv or readxl, any of them. I have just taken all the example over readcsv. You can apply it on Excel as well, read_Excel as well. Some of them can be applied in read_JSON as well. So beyond that you can hit and try on each of the thing, just to get a basic overview that what all arguments generally are getting used into Pandas. I am making you aware that those are arguments. So this is the file path which is there for the JSON or there for the Excel or for the CSV, any one of them you can use it over here. So right now we are watching pd.read_csv, and then thus just we are providing the file path. The second one we are having is the delimiter and separator. So what happens that if you are creating CSV file, definitely it is comma separated by default. But if suppose, what if it is separated with pipe, what if it is separated with tab? So all those separation technique can also be used into any of the CSV file, right? So deal up with that, and our Pandas library should understand that this particular CSV file is separated with tab or the pipe or any of the separator. For that we need to specify it manually, that is delimiter argument equals to, if it is comma, then comma is by default, but if suppose it is pipe over there, we can provide pipe. So let me just demonstrate it right away. So what I will do, you can see over here that inside our this folder which we are using and for storing our whole of the data sets, we will be using it onto the Pandas library in Jupyter Notebook. So all these files are available over here. Inside that we are having this CSV file which we will be using right now. So what I am going to do is, I am just opening it into the notepad. What we will do, we will just replace this comma, whatever it is comma, wherever it is comma over there, we will replace it with the pipe. For that we will just Control R or you may say edit and then replace, correct? So find what it is comma, we are going to replace it with pipe, fine, and replace all, that's it. So what happened is we have replaced all the comma with pipe. Now we will save it. Now after saving it, we'll close it, and as soon as it is getting closed, we will move to our this one, and then Jupyter notebook. What we will do, we'll just take up the boiler code, that is whatever it is of the CSV. Here you can see that I'm just removing this another argument. I'm just what we are using over here, that df is the data frame, correct? pd.read_csv is the method we are using, because CSV file we are going to read. Student.csv, whatever it was the file name, that is student.csv, fine. So which we have replaced right now from comma to pipe. Then specifically we are going to declare the delimiter. We will just copy it from the this particular one. Just we will copy it and paste over here, and specify, instead of comma we will specify it as delimiter. Let's see if it works. So it worked, right? That even if we are passing not delimiter as pipe, it is able to create the data frame whatever it was required. So hope you got this point, that how we can specify our delimiter as well. Now another option we are having, that is encoding. That means we can pass what encoding is getting used into this particular file. So what happens is, let me tell you, that encoding is basically nothing but the you may say computer and storage device work with binary data, definitely. So your computer works with binary data, it doesn't understand any character. If you are passing A, B, C or something like that, it will not understand that particular character. It will understand if suppose A is, you have written into the file that A is represented on the machine level as suppose 010 101, some binary code it will understand, our computer will understand. So what happens that these are the several encoding techniques getting used to generate that binary code. That techniques can be different on each time. It can be UTF-8, it can be Latin 1, it can be Windows 1252, it can be ASCII. Any type of encoding technique can be used to generate that binary code which machine will understand. So by default UTF-8 is the encoding technique used in any of the file, or you may say any of the text file. And our pandas by default understand that any of the text file is encoded in UTF-8 format. But what if it is encoded in some specifically another format? For that we are having encoding, you may say this argument comma encoding, and just you need to specify what encoding you need to apply. If it is UTF-16, just give it over UTF-16. Now the question comes that how we will understand that particular file, what it is having that encoding technique. Definitely you can get it from the documentation, and whoever is giving you that particular file or the data set, you can get that thing that what this particular file is encoded with. You can get with the source location, means whoever is giving you, from them you can get that encoding, what encoding it has been used into that file. So for these reasons there is another set of operation of encoding. Now moving ahead with the handling missing data. So what happens is, suppose if in few of the rows, let me take you back to the data set. So here what happens, suppose there is this 3 written over here. What if suppose this class is not mentioned for this Arnold, correct? This ID number 3, there is no class mentioned into the data set. Apart from that, every classes are mentioned, but here what it is over there, it can be written that it is missing. Some word is written over there, that missing. Definitely what it is going to happen, we need to specify, means if we will just import that missing, definitely our pandas will not understand that what missing is. But if we specifically tell pandas that this, wherever this missing word is written, you treat it as a null value, then what will happen, our cleaning process will become easier. Our pandas will understand, we will understand this, that this data frame is containing missing word, which missing word means that it is a null value. Okay, let me demonstrate it quickly. So what I will do, I will just open this CSV file. I will just open it in the text format, it will be more easier, into the notepad, and at the place of this Arnold 3 I will pass here missing, MISSING. Just I am saving it. Fine. Now I will close it, go to the browser. What we will do, we will just import it, and just we will see that if the missing is coming or not. Missing is coming. Now we are going to specifically tell to pandas that wherever missing is over there, just treat it as a NA value or the null value. For that, what we are going to do, we are just copying this variable in which we can specify multiple. It can be somewhere written as missing, it can be somewhere written as NaN, something, anything. Whatever it is written, just put that into this particular list. Right now the missing is over there only, so we are passing a missing. After that we can pass this argument, that is NA values is equals to NA value, just that. Fine. Now let's try and see if what this missing word is getting replaced with. What you can see that it is getting not treated as the NA values, that means null value. Pandas is not understanding that there is no value wherever missing is written. So hope you got it. Now moving to the next one. The next one we are having into the list is column selection. So what happens that sometime we get the data set into which we can have multiple columns, suppose 50 columns. But what if you need only 10 columns from those 50 columns to be going ahead with some data operation? For that particular case, you can specify those 10 columns only into this use calls. This is the you may say argument over there. Inside that it need a list over there, into that list we will specify all those 10 column names inside that. Then what it will do, it will just pick up those 10 columns only. We will see just by demonstrating it. What we will do is, inside this only we will put comma use calls equals to, and the suppose only we need to take suppose reason. Fine. I am right now removing this index call, it might be confusing you. Fine. Reason comma order date, that's it. So what we are going to do, we are just going to pick only these two columns from whole of the data set, so that it is telling that there is something wrong with it. Okay, we were using, so just a minute, use calls. Now it is executed, correct? So this use calls is there, we were using underscore, that's why it was throwing error. Use calls is equals to reason and then order date, it is picking those columns only. Apart from that, all the columns has been you may say discarded or it is neglected. Now moving ahead with the another, that is date passing. So what happens if suppose there is some particular column into which there is date mentioned over there, but it is not in the format of date. That means that data type into the pandas, if you are going to see, then data type of that particular column is not the date column. It might be string, it might be some other data type. So what and how we can get date from it? So we can just pass that particular column name, that is suppose date column is over there, into the argument that is pass date, it will automatically pass that date column. Then afterwards we are having indexing. Now what this indexing does? This indexing is something which will faster your data retrievable process. So if you are aware of indexing in the SQL, it is same like that it is going to fasten up your data retrievable process from the any of your data frame. So you just need to specify what index column you need to pick up. So suppose there is some data.csv file, into that there are multiple columns, 10 columns. Among those 10 columns there is one column which you want to use it as an index column. Now this index column, whenever you will use it, definitely what it is going to create index on the basis of that particular column. Suppose there is name column, it will create index on the name column. So the data retrieval process will become much more faster by creating this index call. So you can just get a demonstration even. I was just having this particular one. So what I will do, I will control Z. Fine. This index call is suppose ordered it, correct? This index call is suppose ordered it. Now if we will shift plus enter, what the problem we are facing right now? Okay, so we will just remove this. We'll just remove this. Hopefully it should work then. Yeah. So you can see that instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, order date has come as the index. We have labeled the data with order date now. So this is used for labeling, and for the faster data retrievable, we are using this index thing. Now moving ahead with the another one, that is skipping and limiting rows, and then header and footer skipping. So both the things are similar to each other. What happens, sometime into the data set there are suppose there is some Excel which you are using as the data set. Now into that Excel, row number 1 and row number 2 is blank, and the data is starting from row number 3 and then onwards going to 100 or something like that. So what you can do is you can ignore those blank rows, because if suppose you are reading it directly, that Excel data set, definitely it is going to read row number 1 and row number 2 as well, which will lead to the wrong naming convention of your columns. It will not understand that what column it is, because that column at the place of column, at the place of column name, whatever it is to be there into the row number 0, it is blank. So definitely if you will tell it, you will tell the pandas that a skip row equals to 2, it will then start with 3, and when it will start with row number 3, it will just understand what is the column headers. Similarly goes for the header footer as well. So what happens, few times in from the last of the data set, there are something written over there which is not the part of data set. Suppose there is data right from row number 2 to row number 100, but after 100th row there is 101st and 102nd row as well, into which there is some note written over there. That note is not the part of your data set, correct? Then you need to neglect those two rows, 101 and 102. That will come under your this footer thing. Here it is skip footer. Then you need to skip footer, that is 2. It will skip those rows from bottom 2. So hope you got this point. If not, let me just show you with one example, skip rows, then you can try it for the skip footer and all, whatever it is. So just I will skip rows. I will do it for, suppose this is the data set, maybe we can take some of the data set into which we will skip row. Suppose this is the data set, fine, or this one is the data set. Suppose I will just pass skip rows. It's written like this, right? Skip rows. This time what it is happening, it is perfectly fine that it is starting with row skip row 0 and it is taking up correctly the headers as ID, name, class, marks, gender. It's fine. Now what we have specified that skip rows 2, it should hopefully be picking up the things right from here, that is Max Ruin 3, Arnold and all, and it will make Max Ruin as the header. Let's see what happens. Now what you can see, Max Ruin is now as the header, 3 is now as the header, 85 then male is now as the header, correct? So since the data was not as per our requirement, I have just given you the heads up that how it can be used up into our data set. If suppose there are blank rows, that is you can ignore those blank rows like this. So this is how it can be used. You can move ahead with the header and footer by yourself. Then we are having handling comment line. So what happens is, into some of the CSV file or the JSON file anywhere, there is some comments written over there into the data set. Now that comment can be written in anywhere in the whole of the data set, definitely. Suppose I am just opening up that data set again, this is student data set, into our notepad. I am just showing you what happens generally. So suppose there is has written, correct? Now has written and there is some comment 1, fine. Now after this there is again comment written, some comment written over there. This happens in practical scenario, that's why it is how getting handled. Now if suppose the data set is something like this, then what will happen? Let's execute and see what will happen. I will just remove this skip and execute it. What happened? You can see that has comment 2 is there, has comment 1 is there. What it is doing? It is totally you may say destroying our whole data set. For that reason, what we can do, how we can remove this comment things, will not go into our data set and remove it. There should be some flexibility with which we can use it into Pandas itself. So for that we are having the flexibility or the facility, that is commenting, that is comma comment equals to has. If you suppose that comment is starting with has, you will specify has, otherwise whatever it will start with, you can specify that particular character. Comment equals to has in this particular case, fine. So hopefully it should work. Now you can see those comment 1 and comment 2 have been gone and your data set is in front of you. That is absolutely fine, correct? Now moving ahead with another things, that are Excel specific option and then JSON specific option. So in this Excel specific option, what happens sometime that there are multiple sheets into your, this is the common scenario which anybody face across with. So there can be multiple sheets available into your Excel. Now those sheets will maybe not be needing as the whole data set. Definitely you will be needing only single sheet from that whole big Excel, correct? So that sheet you can specify with its name, sheet name equals to that sheet name. That particular sheet name will be only used as your data set into your import. After that, header also you can specify as you specified it over here. So this is for the Excel specific option. Then we are having JSON specific option. Here you can see that this particular data, it is over there, into which we have used this orient, that is list of dictionaries, correct? What it is over here, we are using list of dictionaries, but generally this JSON is not into this format. But sometime it can happen that we can end up with having list of dictionaries. List of dictionaries, what is dictionary? Dictionary is JSON in Python, correct? So this dictionary, the list of dictionary can be, you may say, multiple records into that particular list. Now how this whole Pandas will understand? We need to specify with the orient keyword, and then we will just pass this records, fine. It will understand that list of dictionary has come and we need to pass it. Similarly, suppose there is object per line. If slash n is over there to bifurcate each of your dictionaries, because each of your dictionaries will specify each of the rows into the data set, fine. So each of the rows, if it is going to specify, it can be that it will be separated with slash n, which is trying to tell that it is the new row. Now this definitely you need to specify that into your read JSON method, and into that method you need to specify the argument with lines equals to true. Now wherever the slash n will be written, it will treat the next record as the new row. Fine. Now the second last option we are having is the explicit data type. So suppose type is equals to frame, you can explicitly define your data type. And at last, suppose if you are having the nested JSON data, definitely you can go ahead with path or buf equals to, suppose person is there, correct. So this person is something which is your object. Inside that object, whatever the things will be there, it will be treated as the data. So let me just show you how is it. I will just take a small example. I will just put the whole thing over here. Now what you can see, that generally this type of architecture is not found into JSON, whatever it is getting used as the data set. What it is over there, there is only one keyword, that is person. Inside that person you are having this particular row. Now how this row will be identified, you need to tell that you need to pick up the row from this person key. So once you are specifying that and then executing, definitely it should read got multiple values of argument, path or buffer. So it is telling you so it should be something with you may say path or buff equals to person, correct. So it is something which is getting used as the multiple values it is definitely complaining about, but this is how it is getting used. I will if I will get that what error is telling, I will definitely come up in the next video that how it can be resolved. Okay, but this is how it is getting used. So hope you got all the points whatever I have covered up into this frequently used arguments in import of data. This is going to help you a lot when you will be into the real-time scenario. You will be dealing up with the data sets. You can come over here, you can take a screenshot of this slide, you can use it for the further reference wherever you it will be needed. So that is going to help you a lot. And if you found this video informative and helpful, kindly like to the video, subscribe to the channel. That was whole about this video. See you in the next one with some other topic. Thank you so much guys. Stay tuned to the channel. Thanks again.